Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. New Delhi says Beijing has no locus standi to comment on India's internal affairs. India dismisses Pakistan's dubious claims that New Delhi sent overtures for talks. Thailand declares emergency to quell student protests. EU imposes sanctions on Russian officials and organization over the poisoning of its opposition leader Alexei Navalny. In badminton, India's Kidambi Shrikant sails into the quarterfinals of the Denmark Open. India has said that China has no locus standi to comment on its internal matters. Replying to media queries on China's remarks over border infrastructure, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been, are and will remain integral parts of India. He said Arunachal Pradesh is also very much an integral part of India. This fact has been clearly conveyed to the Chinese side on several occasions, including at the highest level. The spokesperson said New Delhi hopes that countries will not comment on India's internal matters as much as they expect the same from others. Mr. Srivastava said Government of India has focused on creating infrastructure for improving livelihood and economic welfare of its people. He said government gives specific attention to development of border areas for economic development and to meet India's security and strategic requirements.
As for restoration of peace and tranquility in the India-China border areas, this is best done by scrupulously observing all relevant agreements in their entirety. The Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been, are and would remain an integral part of India. China has no locus standi to comment on India's internal matters. We hope that countries will not comment on India's internal matters as much as they expect the same for others.
India today dismissed the claim of Pakistan Prime Minister's Special Assistant on National Security that New Delhi has sent a message to Islamabad for talks between the two countries. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson of India, Anurag Srivastava, said New Delhi has seen reports on interview by a senior Pakistani official to an Indian media outlet, and he has commented on India's internal matters. He termed it as Pakistan's efforts to divert attention from domestic failures of the present government and mislead its domestic constituents by pulling India into headlines on a daily basis. The MEA spokesperson said the official is well advised to restrict his advice to his establishment and refrain from any comment on India's domestic policies.
The official is well advised to restrict his advice to his establishment and not to comment on India's domestic policy. The statements made by him are contrary to facts on the ground, misleading and fictitious. As regards the purported message that was referred to, let me make it clear that no such message was sent from our side. Further, I would like to add that Pakistan continues to support, aid and abet cross-border terrorism against India and has also been resorting to unprovoked ceasefire violations to support terrorist infiltration.
Bangladesh will not co-finance the Phase 3 trial of the corona vaccine being developed by the Chinese company Sinovac Biotech. Health Minister Zahid Malik has said that co-financing was not in the agreement and the company never asked for money when they approached the Bangladesh government. The minister said that Sinovac had agreed to bear all expenses and gave 1.10 lakh free vaccines to the country. They had also agreed to share the technology with Bangladeshi pharmaceutical companies to make the vaccine. Health Minister Zahid Malik said that Bangladesh is in talks with at least 5 frontrunners for the vaccine, including AstraZeneca. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Stephen E. Biegun has said that Bangladesh is a key partner of the U.S. in the Indo-Pacific region. Speaking at the joint media briefing with the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen in Dhaka on Thursday, Biegun said that Bangladesh's economic growth, geopolitical location and stability has increased its impression in the U.S. Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, said that the Rohingya issue was also discussed with the visiting U.S. Deputy Secretary of State. Stephen Began has said that Rohingya crisis requires a regional and global response. He advocated a role of every major country in the region, including India, to resolve the issue. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Today is International Day of Rural Women. The day recognizes the critical role and contribution of rural women, including indigenous women, in enhancing agricultural and rural development, improving food security, and eradicating rural poverty. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, the Country Director, International Fund for Agricultural Development, Dr. Rasha Umar, has underlined the role of women in fighting climate change and finding solutions for the impact of climate change.
Women are at the forefront of fighting climate change and finding solutions for these impacts of climate change. What we have seen, for example, in a state like Andhra Pradesh has already trained quite a lot of women to be internet savvy, and currently Andhra Pradesh is using this cadre of internet savvy to be able to collect information related to soil moisture, to communicate weather advisories to rural households so that they are better able to use the water and irrigation in a very effective and efficient manner.
In Thailand, authorities declared a strict new state of emergency for the capital on Thursday. The move comes a day after the student-led protests against the country's traditional establishment heckled the royal motorcade. The protesters are demanding the resignation of Prime Minister, constitutional changes and reform of the monarchy. Several top leaders of the protest movement were taken into custody. Police said they had made 22 arrests. Government said that the Prime Minister had ordered police to take strict action against those who obstruct a royal procession. The European Union on Thursday imposed sanctions on 6 Russian officials and 1 organization over the poisoning of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Only a day ago, the Russian foreign minister had warned that Moscow might respond with similar measures. The decision was agreed upon among the 27 EU representatives to Brussels. The list includes 2 high-level officials in the Presidential Executive Office, a director of the Federal Security Service, and 2 deputy ministers in the Russian Defense Ministry. The EU is also targeting the State Scientific Research Institute for Organic Chemistry and Technology. Now let us take a look at the coronavirus updates. According to WHO data, the number of infected cases has crossed 38.20 million worldwide. Germany on Thursday posted a record daily increase in confirmed coronavirus cases. French President Emmanuel Macron said that France will restore a state of health emergency that expired 3 months ago. Hong Kong and Singapore said that they have agreed to bilateral air travel bubble, re-establishing travel links as coronavirus infections in both cities decline. Meanwhile, India's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 87.36% with over 6.3 million recoveries so far. A new milestone has been reached with 90 million tests so far in the country. The World Bank has called for emergency financing of $25 billion to help the world's poorest countries grapple with the massive challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. World Bank Chief David Malpass told finance ministers and central bank governors of the G20 major economies that he would propose the supplemental financing package later this month to deputies of the International Development Association IDA. In badminton, India's Kidambi Srikanth has stormed into the quarterfinals of the Denmark Open with a straight game win over Canadian Jason Anthony Hoshio. Kenya's Daniel Wanjiru, the 2017 London Marathon winner, has been banned for 4 years due to an athlete biological passport violation. In Indian Premier League cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore sets a target of 172 runs. In its reply, Kings 11 Punjab had scored 123 for 1 wicket in 14 overs as per the latest updates. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to Vaishnav Jan by artists from Sweden. And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World